Hello, everyone. This is Jason, Joe, and Nicholas. How are you guys doing?
Very
Doing
good.
well. How are
I
you?
feel a lot better that you didn't make us say our names
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Much
We are we're
appreciated.
we're coming to you with a little bonus episode this week. We are since we had a drop of a bunch of new Kiss merchandise with the double platinum stuff. Whoa, look out! It's platinum. It's falling everywhere. With the double platinum stuff. We just wanted to talk about it because there seemed to be quite a bit of varying opinions, which I'm sure you will get on this short little bonus episode. It seems that it's quite wide-ranging too. Some people not liking some things, some people liking things. We've got some really limited vinyl. It'll be interesting to talk about. So let's just jump right in and talk about what happened this week. So we're
I
not
mean, really,
celebrating.
let's be honest. Jason was just so angry he had to record a new episode. He just
That's right.
hated all that stuff so much. He's like, "This is bullshit. I'm going on the air.
I
We'll
texted
do
Joe,
it
I said,
live."
we will not stand for this. So, well, as you guys, if you've watched previous episodes, Joe and I did an episode with Dave Scott talking about all of the vinyl that had come out since the 2014s, and we discussed kind of a lot of the missteps that we feel that Universal has made here in these decisions with, a lot of this bonus stuff, merch that comes with everything, the colors of the vinyl, just really being uninspired when you're putting it up against all of these, much cooler releases like bands like Prince and Queen and Guns N' Roses and all these other bands put out. But we're going to talk about that a little bit because there's some of that. It's still going on. So, but again, this is, speaking of a misstep, we're talking about a double platinum barrage of stuff here. And usually how this has been happening is we're getting anniversary editions of albums, whether it's the 40th anniversary of something, 45th anniversary of something, 40th, 30th, something like that. We get Hot in the Shade. They all fell on kind of anniversaries. And then just out of the blue, on the 42nd anniversary of double platinum, we get this drop here of that no one had any idea was coming, of vinyl and posters and T-shirts. And, I'm not complaining. I love that kind of stuff for the most part. I don't care if it's an anniversary myself. It just kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense. They're not consistent.
Okay, so just refresh my memory. When the solo album celebrated their 40th anniversary, did that come out in 2018?
The box set?
Yes. Yeah, the box set. Yeah, so they probably went, we can't drop two in a year. So I'm assuming that the reason that Double Platinum is out now is the fact they just got it out of the way of the other 1978 thing. Otherwise, you'd have two big releases that one year celebrating their 40th, maybe.
But like we've talked about, that would be assuming a release schedule that was consistent and cohesive, and we're going to avoid this because of this. Because don't you think that if they could certainly put out two releases in a year, especially this?
They did. They did Hot in the Shade and Dynasty.
That's right.
Did they do Hot in the Shade and Dynasty in the same year, or was it Hot in the Shade and
Hotter Than Hell? With that
Hotter Than
orange
Hell? That's not a.
Dressed
That's
to
a.
Hell?
What are the anniversaries there?
Dressed to Hell?
I think Hotter Than Hell and Dynasty, Hotter Than Hell and Hot in the Shade come out at the same time, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The two hotter kind of ones.
So that would be 45th and 30th anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they can absolutely put two things out in the same year.
Sure, or more.
They should put,
or more than that even.
Sure.
Right. If they were doing something consistent and cool, you could do multiples in a year. You could do a record store day thing. You could do an anniversary release. You could do whatever you wanted. I mean, didn't they sort of even do that too with the 2014 releases? Those were initially staggered out over months, and they put out multiple waves of those things, right? So I don't know. There's certainly precedent for it, and especially something you feel like even something this limited, right? That you would think if they put out 500 of this and 500 of that and 500 of that stuff would go like that, regardless of what it is.
If it wasn't overpriced, but we'll discuss that too. So,
yeah.
So do you want to go into the details of the actual vinyl?
Yeah, let's just talk about what the
Jason?
release was. Yeah.
Yeah. So with this drop, we got two versions of double platinum. and one of them seems to be what we'll call the standard release, which I think all of these releases are somewhat quote-unquote limited, right? 2,000, 3,000 copies. That seems to be what they're doing at this point.
I mean, that's the other thing, right? We were talking about other box sets and other stuff that's been put out. Just because you call it limited and numbered, or limited, just limited period, and you tell somebody that it's 500, like the Prince box set, Jason, that's out of print already.
Sure.
So how many of those did they make? Right? I mean, if you took a wild guess, 3,000, 5,000,
5,000, I'd say.
So something like that, right? Maybe.
Right.
So
I mean, the nature of vinyl today is everything is limited.
It's all limited. Yeah.
It's all limited.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to.
So anyway, so you've got what we'll call the standard edition, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then you have the what we're calling the limited, or they're calling the limited edition, and it's supposed to be limited to 500 copies worldwide.
Both picture discs.
Both picture discs, which completely, moves away from what we had been doing with releasing all of these things on colored vinyl. And then as these picture discs, they've taken the photos that are inside the gatefold, and they've tried to transpose them and put them on the records for the picture disc. And then they've color-coded them their specific colors, which is odd because there's nothing to do with those colors with double platinum.
That's the strangest part about it. They're just having those solo album covers sort of on there.
I swear to God, when I first looked at them, I thought, are those CDs?
Right.
I thought they were printed CDs.
They're just bizarre looking. And of course, clearly we're looking at artist renderings here, so hopefully they turn out a little better. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
so they're from, I think we'll show everyone in case you haven't seen them. I brought this along, which is the 1978 promo ad from Sounds magazine. And this is exactly what they've scanned, because they've done this for the lithograph. So the quality of them, they're not new drawings, they are exactly these. But,
sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Or are they different?
Well, so if you look at, let's not get too deep into the weeds yet. So let's just talk about everything, right? So you had the 2 vinyl releases, then you had the bundle release, which included the non-limited picture disc, which had the picture disc, the pin, the holographic sticker, a T-shirt, and shot glasses, right?
Correct.
Then you have the double platinum award that came out separately, a long sleeve, a drawings T-shirt, a logo T-shirt, and then a new Kiss Double Platinum 78 T-shirt, and then an album cover T-shirt.
No, that's old. That album cover T-shirt's old.
Okay, so that's one that they've just thrown in there. Got it.
Yeah, that's
got it. Then the tumbler set, or the shot glass set, the double platinum lithograph, which again I got excited about, and then looked at the size again, just like before with the unmasked. It's 18 by 24. It's super small. You would think that thing would look badass, huge, right?
It would. Yeah. 24 by 36, man.
Or even at this size, it's much smaller than that, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Is it? What? I figured it was about that size. Is that not it?
Have they scanned it 1-to-1? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So then you've got a lighter, 2 different mugs, one of which has the drawings on it, one that has this new double platinum logo, a double platinum pin, which is very interesting that we'll discuss, and we'll put double platinum in quotes for the pin, and then the holographic sticker. So that was the full collection that came out last week.
Right. Quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of T-shirts, right? A lot of...
Yeah, there are 4 T-shirts, 4 different T-shirts.
Yeah.
Or,
now
3 different designs.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But the one thing with the pin, and we'll talk about the quality of the pin, when I went to put that pin on Everything Kiss, I already had that on there. So that's come out before. As I know Ron Buckley was saying, haven't we seen that pin before? And I'm sure
we have.
But then when I went there, it's on the site already. So that's come out with something else, but I cannot remember as of this second what that came out with. But that wasn't, it was either a double platinum pin before, or they've just called it a double platinum pin.
That just, I'm glad you said that, Nicholas, because that just churned some wheels in my head. I remember probably 6 months ago, a couple of items popped up on Kiss Online, and it was I don't remember exactly what they were, but they were both double platinum, and I remember screenshotting them and putting them on Kiss My Wax and said, "Is the double platinum vinyl, colored vinyl, next?"
Oh.
Oh, I kind of remember that now that you say it. Yeah,
I bet that pin was one of them.
Yeah.
I bet the pin was one of them. I'll have to go back and find that post, but I think you're right, Nicholas. I think that was shown up a little while ago. So. So what do we want to discuss in detail here first?
Well, I guess all the stuff is just all the stuff, right? There's not really much to discuss there. The holographic sticker for $8 is a little weird to me. I don't know.
Why is that weird to you?
Huh?
Why is that weird to you?
I think it's cool that it's holographic, but $8 seems a little much, I guess, for a sticker.
I think in the grand scheme of things, everything on Kiss Online is a bit much. Even if you just go look at their regular merch.
Sure.
T-shirts are $30 and $40.
Of course. Yeah.
$200 vinyl.
Right, we'll get there. That's exorbitantly high.
Yeah.
But,
and then so the double platinum
it should have
pin.
been a $4 sticker. Sure.
Yeah. So then the double platinum pin, we all find that weird because the logos weren't used until much later. In those icon logos, right?
Right.
So that just seems weird that they would throw that in the double platinum mess. Other than that, Jason, I know you're interested in the double platinum award.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty interested in all of the awards, and if you've been in the groups, you've seen that I've been purchasing those, and there are a few of us that really support them. We really like the concept. The problem with them is there are some consistency issues, just like with anything, where you have the first album award is the only one that doesn't have the logo. Nicholas and I were texting about this the other night. It's the only one that doesn't have the logo. So if you bought all of them and you line them all up on your wall, every one of them is going to have a Cool Kiss logo except for the first album. It's pretty ridiculous.
And not just the logo, the fact that they've sort of now got a thing of the logo and then the album title in some ways being over the top of the record, so it gives it a kind of a 3D kind of thing. Mm-hmm. With the first album one, there's nothing on it. It's just
correct.
So it kind of it doesn't match the others.
That's exactly right.
Same way.
So
that sort of goes back to our original discussion through all this stuff, through many of the shows and the Dave Scott episode where we broke down all those other releases. There's no plan, right? Somebody designed that first one and went, "Oh, we don't like that, how that looks," and then maybe they landed on something the second time and went, "Okay, that's the one. Now we're going to go forward." But you sort of, if you're looking at Kiss collectors and real, quote-unquote, real Kiss collectors and how crazy they can be and fanatical they can be about wanting to have everything, to me that stuff should just be consistent,
Right. Consistent.
It's funny with these things, and I quite like them. And I think I said to you, Jason, the other night that I'd be tempted to get those. But I know somewhere along the line they're going to bring out one that's like, a centimetre too big, or they'll change something, or they'll move the plaque somewhere else, and it'll really annoy me because they won't care about the details. But when you're paying what are they, $300 US each, and you get them all on your wall, and now they've just changed something totally, that I think that would bother me if they're not going to follow it.
Well, I tell you, they better stay the same size. That would suck if one comes out and it's like 2 inches taller or something like that. They better stay the same size. But, a couple of other inconsistent things is they have the wrong label on Dynasty.
The wrong label, yeah.
Not just on Dynasty's Gold Award, but also Dynasty's Platinum Award, because there are several Gold Awards, but there are also 3 or 4 Platinum Awards as well. So, they haven't used the, what we would call a custom label on Dynasty, where they have the the black and all of that. What the Dynasty label looks like. So they haven't used that. They've used actually a 1985 polygram label, which makes absolutely no sense. And they did the same thing with Rock and Roll Over. I remember
Rock and Roll Over was a different label too, right?
Right, and it's a 1985 polygram logo, which is silly because if you're going to be consistent, you need to have the correct label of the time that the album was either certified platinum or certified gold. And at that time, it would have been what we call a camel label. If you go back to the Kiss My Wax, it's not the Casablanca Records and Filmworks, it's not the Blue Bogart, but it's the one in between that kind of has the really reddish Casablanca logo. So I complained and sent them photos. And I said, this is what you've got. This is what it's supposed to be. And the fools sent me a corrected...
I riffled off a strongly worded letter to KISS headquarters.
I got
Dear madams and sirs.
Platinum. So anyway, so there's inconsistent issues. But back to this double platinum. All the other platinum awards have been $270. This one's $300. People are wondering why. I don't know why.
There's a pandemic on.
Is it the first double disc? Jason?
I'm speculating it's because it's the first double disc. It's got 2 records in there. So
now, apart from another thing, I was looking at this one. So apart from the other inaccuracies, I could send away for this and have my name on it, and I have no recollection of working on the double platinum album. But the other thing was, is that exactly? I was only 4 at the time. But one thing I want to know about some of these, because I'd like to see what it exactly looks like. That double platinum thing would be cool if that background there is the same as the album cover and it's actually reflective foil silver.
And it's embossed and
that's
raised.
Good and raised. But if that's just flat and grey, then that would change.
I think it's going to be flat and grey. I think it's going to be flat and grey. And that was the other thing, or the one other thing I was going to say about this. Do what?
How cool would it be if it was the foil as well?
That's the one thing I was going to say about this. I sound like I'm complaining about the awards, but I actually really like the double platinum award, except for what appears to be how the background is going to be. If it was silver and embossed, it would be fantastic. I almost think it would look good if it was just black too, because you got all this other silver sitting on top of it. It would probably make it pop a little more. Now it just kind of all blends together. It's all kind of silver grayish or something like that. But that being said, I quite like it, and I absolutely will get this one for sure. I've had it in my cart a few times, and I've almost pulled the trigger. I almost pulled the trigger last night on a second copy of the limited edition, and I stopped myself. But anyway, so that's the Platinum Awards.
Both Nicholas and I.
We'll talk about it.
Oh boy.
We'll talk about it. Okay.
All right. So should we talk about the elephant in the room then?
Yeah, let's talk about the elephant.
Well, I think there's 2. First, picture discs.
Mm-hmm.
Notorious for bad sound. I don't know if it's gotten better, Jason. Maybe you know more about it than I do.
I think it, from the things that I've read and the things that I've heard inside the industry, it has gotten markedly better, and it's mainly because they've improved the technique of actually putting the graphic down,
encapsulating it. Yeah.
Yes, so. And it all depends on how much space you have there to actually press in the grooves. But that's classically been the issue, is you have a big thick piece of paper and you hardly have any space to press any grooves down, and you get staticky sounds and stuff like that. So it's gotten better. It's not going to sound as good as your 2014 copy of this or your Mint 78 copy of it, but it's not going to sound like a 78 solo album picture disc either. That's going to have some just all kinds of artifacts in it. So
sure.
So how what's the process? It's a picture, like a piece of paper, and they stamp it down and then they cut the grooves over the top of that or something. Yeah, like how do they actually manufacture picture discs?
Yeah, I think it's
vinyl, paper, vinyl, right?
Yes, vinyl, paper, vinyl. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
therefore they could have done the very first foil silver one. If you put foil down, vinyl, foil, vinyl, you could have actually had it like not a silver one like most people come out with the silver ones and there was that grey or metallic silver. But imagine you had a reflective one.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That'd be a much better idea than what it looks like we're getting.
Although clear vinyl is always sort of milky, because you get all the grooves so it's never really like glass smooth, to look through when it's clear. It's always like translucent clear, if that makes any sense, like a pane of frosted glass. So to know if you get that foil reflection in there, but I get your point, Nicholas. Yeah. It could be cool.
Yeah, I think the design ideas, the design brains of all 3 of us could have come up with 15 different things that would have been much cooler than what this looks like here on this screen, So
right.
But anyway, there's been several posts about it in Kiss My Wax. There's been several posts about it in collectibles, and there have been a few people that are like, "Hey, I like it," and that's fine,
Oh yeah, I mean, to each their own, right? It's all there to buy for you, or at least
sure.
It was. I guess the thing that and to talk about the real elephant in the room, the fact that they're charging $200,
yes,
for 2 pieces of vinyl is just amazing. Essentially, somebody at Universal said, "Hey, this collector's market, we think it will bear X amount of dollars. Let's see if it's right." And here's the reality. They probably could have charged, and I hate to say it because they might just do it, they probably could have charged $500 for that set, and it would have sold out at some point. Now, we've all looked at this thing and seen how long it, and some people get all wrapped up in, how fast did it sell out, all that kind of stuff. To me, that's a little immaterial, although if that had been a $100 record or a $75 record, that stuff would have been gone instantly.
Same day.
And it took a couple of mass emailings, as I remember, or at least
it did.
A couple of Twitter posts, a couple of mass mailings.
They sent a mass email again yesterday.
Right.
When there was about 50 copies left.
Exactly. So, it took some coaxing, but the Kiss Army, you feel like it's always going to sell out of 500. Almost at any cost. I mean, within.
Sorry.
No, within reason, I guess. I mean, obviously, it can't be $1,350, and people are going to snap it up unless it's special, and that's another thing we have to talk about. To me, for that money, this doesn't cut the mustard, as it were. To me, it falls way well short of being special for $200.
I agree. What were you going to ask, Nicholas?
Oh no, I was just going to say that I wonder now that they're really tackling 2 types of people in this market. They're kind of saying, well, there's the people who want to get it, obviously, because they just want to get it. There's the other people who bought it, and I know I could see some of the comments. People going, I'm going to get this before it sells out and it becomes $1,000 record, because they want to own one of those. Now there's that fear of, it doesn't matter whether I hate this or even open it.
Sure.
It's going to be $1,000 record that could finance my next purchase of something else I want, or maybe I'll buy 2 of them, one to sell later on. And by me buying 2, I've now sold it out quicker and made my $1,000 record. So there's a different logic in the brain going on there.
Correct.
That is precisely why I was going to buy a second copy last night, because why not have a second copy of that you hope will, at least over the next couple of years, will increase in value? Because the biggest thing here is, we talk about the records like Greatest Kiss, its value is high. It's kind of stayed in that $350 to $450 range. You can only get it in Kissteria. A lot of people will say, well, that's collectible because there are no other versions of it on vinyl around. And so when you talk about Double Platinum, there are plenty of other versions of it around, but the Kissteria exclusive of Double Platinum also hovers in that 300 to 350 range, 275 or something like that.
Right, Greatest Kiss, Killers, and Double Platinum seem to be the 3 bangers out of that bunch, right? Out of the exclusive, out of the box set. Yeah.
So and we've seen Greatest Kiss realize between $500 and $600, and there's only 1,000 copies a piece of those. So I think when you start whittling Kiss records down to 500, you're going to have enough people that this thing was on the market for 3 days maximum. There's going to be people that didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be somebody that comes along and goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's sold out," and somebody's going to have it up on eBay for $800 or $600 or something like that, and they're going to make their money back and make a little money on it, I think.
Do they have an amount limit on purchase, like an amount you can purchase?
No, I know somebody that bought 5. Someone posted that he bought 5 copies in collectibles or wax.
The reason I asked that is I showed Jason earlier that Queen have come out now on July 27th with the game picture disc, same kind of bundle, exactly the same kind of thing. It's only £83. But the one thing I did notice, they said no more orders of 3. Anyone who orders more than 3, your entire cart will be emptied and the order cancelled, money refunded straight away.
See, it's
because there's obviously a market there where people go, I'm buying 100.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to drip feed them back into the market at a much bigger price.
Yeah, these companies, not that they haven't been, but they're absolutely wising up to the economies of scale, limited editions, and fans who want to buy more than one to cash in. And what Universal here has done, in my opinion, is they've gone, you know what? These guys will pay it. We've seen it on a secondary market for some of these records. Let's test it. Let's see what happens. We've never done anything close to this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's try it out.
And they make $100,000 in 3 days.
Yeah, they make $100,000 in 3 days, and that's just the point. The point to me is 500 of almost anything from Kiss is going to go. 500 of almost anything from any big band is going to go quickly. If you did a 500 Metallica, Motley Crue, AC/DC, Queen, you name the Beatles, any of that stuff is going to go so fast because there's a big market for that stuff.
Right? Yeah.
Now that though begs the question: should they? And in my opinion is they shouldn't. I feel like that's an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah, and let's talk about that a little bit in depth because we don't want to seem like hypocrites here. We have released our own record. It was expensive.
Yes, it was.
And so we want to...
But even not this expensive.
No, not even this expensive. Yeah. So I want to qualify that and kind of, even though we've explained it before, but explain why, because there are hard costs involved in making these records. There's just no way around it. There's
immovable costs.
That's right. That's what, you're going to pay this much money to press it. You're going to pay this much money to print covers, this much money to... ship it, all kinds of stuff. There's all these kind of hard costs that are involved.
As just a baseline, right? And that's just vinyl, label, sleeve, shrink wrapped, delivered. That's right. Always going to be there. Is it a gatefold? Do you add another color on the printing press?
Right.
Do you do custom labels that we don't have that you need to reprint? Do you do a slipcase? Do you do special? So like all that stuff. Then now you're making a decision as a creator. Where's the value back on that kind of stuff? So go ahead, Jason.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. So no, don't apologize. Absolutely. So as far as just guesstimating costs on this record, you do have some expensive cost in that jacket. I doubt they have any left over from the 2014s. There was only 1,000 of them. It's not like the other 2014s where they printed 5,000 covers and are just recycling those.
But they do have the plates.
But they are right. It's so already there,
and all the costs in printing is in setup. So really, all they need to buy is paper, and they're off to the races again.
Right. So you've got the cost of that, whatever that's going to be, the cost of pressing the picture discs. There are clearly no labels on it. Shrink wrapping it. I couldn't imagine that the total cost of this record for the label to make was more than $20. I couldn't imagine. Okay, and I know that because with our Ace Frehley record that we did, we pressed that record, and the pressing. What did we pay from the label for?
We won't talk about costs like that.
We don't want to talk about costs like that. Okay, that's fine.
But no, your point is taken. That we have the experience in knowing what special vinyl costs, what upgrades costs, and all that kind of thing. And we've even discussed it on the show before that we were making some hard decisions on, hey, this money's going to come out of our pocket.
Right.
If we put a slipcase on this thing, that's another X amount of dollars per unit that's going to come out of our pocket. Should we do it? Because we also felt like there was a threshold of pain, and I think that's what Universal is testing the waters on. What is the threshold of pain on these different releases? Where's the money versus the limited edition? If we do 250, can we charge 500 a piece? If we do 500, can we charge 200 a piece? If we do 100, can we charge 1,000 a piece? What's the balance of justice there? From an economic standpoint. So, yeah.
So, in my opinion, just stacking the cost up, knowing what we paid for our record and what we charged,
and knowing what in the industry too, right?
And the fact that I've worked in the industry for a long time. And know the costs of making these records, we've got a record here that's marked up exorbitantly. I mean, it's really unbelievably expensive, and so we can compare it to other special things that have come out. recently, coming out here in September, just solicited now and advertised now, is the Prince Sign of the Times Deluxe box set. That box set has 13 LPs, a DVD, and an 140-something page hardcover book in a box.
Yeah.
And the retail on it is $299. $100 more than this. Okay?
And you get 13 records?
13 records.
Yeah.
And a show DVD. And a
45 book. Unreleased songs. 45
from
unreleased
one session.
Right. So, so you compare that. We're just talking about this value here. What is the perceived value of this record? In my mind, this is a $50 record.
Yeah.
Retail max.
Yeah.
$50 retail max.
You could even maybe argue, let's go 75 because it's never been released widely to the public, right? Since 2014, since we did all the re-releases, it's never been released widely. So let's do another limited. So you could go, okay, $75. I don't think, had the three of us been sitting around and talking about any kind of recorded project, had we ever thought $200. I don't think I would have felt comfortable charging that, to be honest.
No way.
Not that I didn't think it would sell, because I would think it would sell. I just would never go, yeah, let's get them for $200. That just sounds like a lot of money.
With the amount of cost that we had in Space Invader, and trust me, it was a lot of cost.
Sure was.
Never once did we say, let's try to get $199 for this. Never once.
No. We actually tried to come up with that number first and then back stuff into it and get as close as we could to getting the coolest package out there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the idea is you want to make money on this stuff, right?
Yeah. But we had to pay. I had to pay Ace Frehley too to sign them too. So this doesn't even have that cost.
That's
involved.
another thing. Yeah.
Now I want to know with this thing, the sleeves themselves, would they have 500 spares from whatever they printed?
Maybe, but
they don't even have any cost of the sleeves.
Well, they
just
also
the 2014 ones, you know.
But they also have this other version over here with what I'm assuming is the same sleeve. That's going to probably be a run of 2,000 or 3,000, and I don't think they printed 5,000 copies of that jacket. They could have, but I don't think they did. Were they thinking 6 years in advance? Oh, we're gonna re-release Double Platinum in 6 years, so we need to print 5,000 copies of. I don't think they were doing that.
6,000 in advance for me.
So
we have to do what by Tuesday?
Yeah. I think they probably are reprinting these jackets for the most part, you know. So we'll see.
When they say 2018, wasn't there? I mean, I dozed off while I was editing your vinyl episode, but wasn't there one of them that actually now doesn't have 2014 on them?
No, was it Paul Stanley? Were they all redone, Jason? Because they all have a different texture, don't they?
Yeah, all of the
solo
albums. The solo box, they're tip-on sleeve. They're completely different jackets than the 2014. So yes, these were all redone.
So the tip-on jacket, just to cover that again real quick, that is converted first and then paper's glued on after the fact. Right. That's how old school records used to be made. So you can actually see, like on the Kiss's first record for sure is like that. Hotter Than Hell is not, is it?
No, only the first album is
only the first album. So you'll see it on the first album. And then they moved to actually printing them flat right on the paper and then converting them.
And that's even the first issues. Even the second, third printings are not tip-on sleeves. So, you know, point being, it's too expensive. It's definitely price gouging.
No, it's not. Do you know why?
Why?
Because they sold out.
That's right.
Everybody bought them. They're not too expensive. You know why Ferraris aren't too expensive? Because they sell just enough every year to keep stamping Ferrari into metal every year when they
You're exactly right. I totally agree with you. I stand corrected. And in full disclosure, I bought this thing, and I bought the other picture disc, and I bought 3 T-shirts, and I bought a sticker, and I'm about to buy the Platinum Award. So I may
Where's
sell
the limit? Where's the high point? If they go, well, if you were at Universal and said we sold, 200 of whatever for $200, do you go, well, the next one's gonna be 300? Next one's 400. Next one's 500. I wonder where the ceiling of it is, of where they go. That also we put it on for $400.
You see the needle going.
Exactly. And it's sold out at the same time. It's like if there's just such a small amount of people ready to buy them, doesn't matter the cost. Then who knows?
You can almost guarantee at any time, anywhere, at any moment, there are 100 people who will buy almost anything that Kiss puts out. Almost regardless of cost. Look at that monster book. Now, I don't know how many of those sold.
Not many.
Not many, but maybe 100.
I don't know. But I don't know.
But look how outlandishly ridiculous and expensive and over the top and just incredibly ridiculous that thing was.
I've only heard of 2 people that purchased it, I think.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there wasn't 100.
Yeah.
But I've only heard of 2. So, All right, so moving off the deluxe edition picture disc, just to say, I'm sure we've shown some pictures, or we'll show some pictures of this. The faces, the drawn faces that are on here from inside the gatefold on the deluxe take up the whole record. It's each face on each side. There's a different face on each side of the 4 sides of the record. So if you move over to the $60 standard edition, it has all 4 of those photos just kind of stamped in a cross pattern on
circles on circles. It's just weird.
It almost looks like a bullet chamber.
It looks ridiculous. I can almost get on board with the deluxe edition, but what we got over here on the $60 edition, it absolutely, it's ridiculous. It's one of the ugliest records I've ever seen. Probably the ugliest record I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah. Nicholas, you want to talk about how you feel about it?
Yeah, so when I first saw it, you know what, I thought a bit the same as Joe. I looked at them. You thought the other one was like CDs. I thought this looked like a kind of a box set where you would come out with a round bit of plastic and the CDs sit in like a CD changer. That's what when I first saw it.
Kind of looks like that.
Round, and you had, especially with Peter's nose showing, looks like the center bit of the CD. And that's what I thought. I thought it was a bunch of, oh wow, they brought out 8 CDs of outtakes from Strata 78.
If you've ever been to a local art fair and you've walked around and they have those coasters, like bootleg coasters that somebody has made of bands with bad drawings or whatever it is, that's what these look like. They look like really bad drink coasters that somebody has made. I mean, they're as hideous.
For a $10 rubber vinyl drink coasters, that seems correctly priced for the illustration quality.
Yes.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, pay for those.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you have to give them some credit for being aware of the artwork and how it's been used before, or I don't know. I mean, the whole thing is just so unbelievably disappointing. The output that's coming out is just unbelievably bad to me, and I love Universal for making the attempt to put the stuff out, and it's cool for people who want to buy it. I just think it's hideously ugly, and even in the forum, a lot of people were just like, "Oh my gosh!" The hardest of diehards were like, "Oh boy, I can't get behind this thing. What do I do?"
Look, I don't bash anything that Kiss does.
Yeah.
And I think this is the ugliest record I've ever seen. It's terrible.
So if you were at Universal, you'd go, I've learnt a few things. One thing, a $200 record will sell out.
Exactly.
2, we can put whatever we like on there and it'll sell out. 3, Kiss fans will whinge about anything. So best not to listen to them. Best just to ignore them and still keep doing what we do and sell out.
That's the thing.
If you work there, you'd say this is a roaring success.
Oh, of course. We made $100 grand. Well, didn't make $100 grand, but you probably made.
Yeah.
You grossed $100 grand.
You grossed $100 grand in 3 days.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. What's next?
But see, I don't even blame the fans because there's such a massive fan base that it's not like, Jason, if you didn't buy it, guess what? Somebody else was going to.
Somebody else. They absolutely
And there were probably.
I didn't buy a second copy last night, and somebody did. So.
There were probably 500 people behind you or more.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it reminds me of the Fatboy Slim album title, I'm number one, so why try harder? And that's kind of like what it is. That sums up this business model here.
Yeah.
Why would we
I've
go to
said
any extra effort? No?
I've had a lot of clients who, had silver spoons in their mouths and were born on third base and thought they hit a triple, and you could tell them nothing about what your expertise area was. They weren't going to hear it. I'm a 100 millionaire. I'm a 50 millionaire. Why am I taking any kind of cues from this guy who does little drawings on his computer all day? I mean, that's just the way that it is. Who's going to tell Universal they're doing wrong? The bottom line is they're making a whole bunch of money, and they have the content to make a whole bunch of money.
Right.
So
at as little effort as possible to maximize your profit. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the bundle. If you listen to our previous episode about the Kiss My Wax Remastered, about all of the vinyl that came out in 2014, one of the things that we complained about was how these quote-unquote limited bundles aren't really limited, because every single thing in that bundle you can purchase separately right down below it on the website here.
And is it cheaper? Didn't we run the math during that episode?
There was a couple of them
and we
that
ran
were cheaper.
And it was like, cheaper or right at the
$5
same.
cheaper or some crap like
right.
that. Yeah. So that's the thing. We did discuss in that episode, there are a couple of the early bundles where there was, like with Destroyer, there was a T-shirt. There were only 50 copies of that bundle. So there were only 50 T-shirts gone. No, they're so rare, people hardly even have a photo of them.
Right, exactly. We asked for a photo, and I think one person said, "Oh, I've got mine," and they showed a photo in a Kiss forum.
No. We got a screenshot of the website.
The thing existing, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't even get. No one even gave us a photo of the T-shirt.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
that's the kind of stuff you want to make these bundles out of. I don't understand.
I think what you're saying is the design of this T-shirt shouldn't be available
any other way
separately. Just have a separate design just for that bundle.
Yeah,
which would be easy to do.
Yes, absolutely easy to do.
Well, and it's also more motivation to buy the bundle. Yeah, I mean, and it comes with a T-shirt I can't get, and so I think the Rock and Roll Over version, Jason, if I'm not incorrect, came with a foil Rock and Roll Over art sticker that you could not get separately.
Correct. That is correct.
And I bought that bundle because it came with that cool pin. It came with the foil sticker that you couldn't get any other way, a T-shirt you couldn't get any other way, and then the limited edition. Lord knows it was orange vinyl.
But that's how it should have been. That's
right.
And you can even charge more money for those, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Right.
That's the whole idea of a limited edition bundle. But now they've gotten lazy, and they're just throwing the same stuff that you can purchase. So in this bundle is the drawings T-shirt and the shot glasses, the $60 picture disc, the holographic sticker, and the little pin that isn't really double platinum related, and that's normally it costs $153, and they have it on sale for $130. I don't get it. So
I'm doing the math.
Yeah, do the math real quick.
So I think, if my math is correct,
if you buy them separately,
yeah. If my math is correct, it's $158 if you buy them separately. So which I think bears out, because I think the last time we did it, we decided it was a $5 savings if you bought it all as a bundle rather than individually. $5.
Right. $5 whole bucks. So, and so if it was regularly priced, it's $153. $5.
$5, right? Now you're getting Now you're getting.
They have it on sale
for
$130.
I'm being invaded by ants here. I've killed 2 ants now during the show. Not my relatives.
All right, so what else do we have here? We've mentioned the drawings. So we've got the drawings on the picture disc, and Nicholas showed earlier. The British. It's the British ad, right? The British ad, kind of where these come from. So that British ad is on a T-shirt that
Can
has
I just point something out real quick? Look at the purple Paul picture disc. That line from his chin which I don't think actually exists on
This
the
one?
78. No, on his chin.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah, makes it look like he has a double chin. The way that's cut out, and I don't think that's on the ad, Nicholas.
Which is it?
Hold your ad up.
Yeah.
No, it's not on there.
It's not on there.
So it is a little different, isn't it?
So you see that extra... They added like a little extra line for some reason.
The T-shirt is... Let's see.
Yeah, the T-shirt looks right.
T-shirt looks the same as the ad. He's talking about on the picture disc itself.
Yeah.
So the T-shirt looks just like the ad that Nicholas just showed, and it's got a silver Kiss logo on the back of it. Another thing that I found interesting for taller, bigger guys like myself is there were sizes that were available on some shirts that were not available on other shirts. One stopped at 2X, one stopped at 3X, one stopped at 4X. I don't understand that. Why wouldn't you have all the T-shirts in all the same sizes? No.
We moved to a new manufacturer, and whoop-de-doo, we have more sizes.
Yeah.
That is strange, isn't it? Unless they just calculate, they go, which one is going to be our more popular one, will offer more sizes.
Right.
I wonder if these print to order and they just print less of the other ones.
Yeah.
You know?
Because there's two ways to go about that. I'm sure Universal has a massive, discount from somebody for printing all their T-shirts. But, if you're buying onesies and twosies, you kind of know that most people aren't 4X and most people aren't extra small, right? So you're going to print a ton of mediums and larges so that you get economy of scale. So if you print 1,000 T-shirts, it's less than printing 10. So who knows? Who knows why they're doing it? But there it is.
All right. So the next T-shirt we have is the logo. It's it's the Kiss logo with the double platinum Kiss logo at the bottom, same as the album cover. And this is also
and similar to the original 1978 version, except they had I think the black logos were filled in.
Right. So what you get here is something that's very nostalgic as far as your vintage Kiss collectors go, and I think that that's probably the one thing that appealed the most to most of the collectors out of all of the stuff that they released, because it's essentially remaking a vintage T-shirt. So I love it. It's one of the ones I bought. So Joe, opinions? Nicholas, opinions?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the original design of the Kiss logo, double platinum Kiss, is the best out of all these versions, because it was the one done by a proper art director, and they put it on a T-shirt. It looks good. Yeah, that's the one I like the best.
And I actually don't mind the draw. I think the drawings are really cool and kitschy. They're not great drawings by any stretch, but they're cool and kitschy. I just don't think, do we need another black T-shirt? Like, wouldn't it be cool if they offered it in gray and
white?
Something else
blue?
That was cool.
Blue, like your Destroyer shirt?
I don't know. Just it's just
rainbow?
Always black.
Yeah, that's one thing. All of these shirts are black.
Yeah. So many times I go online, I don't know about you, but I go online and I do Kiss shirt, and I just, even typing into Google, and I see all these cool ones like a yellow or a blue, and then you click on them and you realize it's the girls' version of the T-shirt. I often see these really cool designs by Junk Food Tees and all these kind of really fashiony ones, and I go, I'd wear that, and then you realize that's the women's one. The men's one doesn't have, it's very hard to find the right colours. Just a normal, something that's different to black.
So then we'll move on to the double platinum 78 with the triangles. Joe and I had a discussion about this the other night, and I'm anxious to hear what he has to say. What's your opinion of that?
Yeah, I just feel like the whole thing is misproportioned. I just hate it myself. It not good. Why? I understand the reason to maybe want to put another shirt out and maybe do something new, I guess. It just feels like there's something cooler you could have done. I don't like it myself. I guess I can't be much more specific than that. For me visually, I don't know. The triangles around it kind of evoke the Dunross cards, and it evokes the Kiss Army logo itself. And I don't know. It just kind of looks. It feels to me like it would have been cooler as a sticker or something, because it kind of has that compressed little feel. And then this thing kind of like takes up a weird spot on the chest. I don't know. Not for me.
Yeah, I think that would have made a good sticker. That's good thinking. But I love it. You know, as we were discussing the other night, I love it because of the reasons that you just pointed out. You know, it invokes Donruss cards. I love that double platinum is, you know, outlined in silver. I love that this actually has a silver logo on it. You know, I think it looks cool.
What would have been cool is if they would have done that as a triangular patch.
Sure.
That could have been really cool.
Yeah. I look at it and now if you could print that on a t-shirt, if that was reflective foil silver, then it could have a kind of a cool 70s, you know, iron-on-y kind of feel to it. So I've got a feeling it'll probably turn out to be grey. But my other thing that I looked at it and I went, do you know, like, because it's all very line work, the bits that bother me is the inside of that KISS logo should have just been black like it is on the regular double platinum one.
Yeah.
If that was line work and then that tied into the triangular design, the same as behind double platinum, I can't even read double platinum because you got that silver behind it.
Yeah, the red and silver fight.
Why not have the KISS with the black logo with the silver outline, silver things? You could tweak that logo a bit and make it kind of retro-y cool.
Even if you stacked double and platinum and got rid of the 78, I think that could be cool, because the first thing I see is 78, because it's that little, you know, it's that whisper in a crowd thing, right? It's a small little thing on a big black field, and that's all you look at, you know?
Valid points. And then, so you have that in a t-shirt, and then you have a long sleeve design with that same design on the front, and on the back, it has the KISS logo, and then the entire track list, and it's reflective as on the website is silver, but, you know, will it be gray? Will it be silver? And then
what does iridescent mean? What does iridescent? Not the word iridescent, but when they describe it on here as an iridescent print effect.
You feel like it's going to have some kind of sheen to it, like it'll be.
It's going to have sheen.
Yeah, it does. Okay.
So maybe it will. You know. Yeah. And I think that'll make it a little bit cooler, in my opinion. So.
I don't buy shirts with anything on the back. I can't stand things on the back.
Yeah.
So I never buy anything with anything.
I'm with you. I'm always so disappointed when you get the little chest logo and then the big one on the back. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So y'all never liked the concert?
Never buy it. Never buy anything on the back.
You never liked the concert shirts from the concert that had the tour dates on the back?
I bought them when I was 11.
Yeah. I like that. Those are about the only ones I like. So.
that made me think of the 40-year-old version. Everyone rides bikes when they're 8.
Exactly. Everybody buys a concert t-shirt no matter what it looks like at their first concerts, you know?
Yeah.
Right. So, and then we just have, you know, all of those designs repeated on different other little tchotchke kind of ideas. So you've got, you know, the double platinum logo on the lighter, which, you know, I don't care about lighters, but it's a cool idea because the lighter's already silver. So, you know.
See, here they've got it. They actually say that they print on the tumblers. They actually print all that triangular design in the silver foil. You can kind of see. So they'll be printed on the glass like that, which instantly makes it look better. I still don't like the silver behind the double platinum words, but that triangular design looks nice and 70s, like almost like you'd imagine some kind of Greatest American Hero or some kind of.
That's what I think.
That kind of feel.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
That's right.
Where could he be?
So you've got the shot glasses with that triangle logo on it, and then you also have a coffee cup that has that triangular logo 78, and you also have a. Did I say mug? Did I say coffee cup? Mug? I don't know. Anyway, and then you have another coffee cup that has the drawings on it, and then you have a litho of that ad, basically.
So the litho, check out. I was just chuckling to myself because I was reading the description of the litho because I thought, boy, how cool would that be if that was in Mylar 70s silver,
perfect,
and printed on that? I'd buy it. Badass.
Yeah.
So here's what it says. The illustration on this litho is a repurposed design. So it's like we're grabbing something and putting it on something else, right? So they're almost admitting it. But then they say, from the inside sleeve of the Australian version of the double platinum album, which
incorrect.
Yeah.
Show it, Joe. Show it, Joe. So
because we were talking about this before.
Exactly, the British thing is it's not repurposed. They've just scanned in the British.
My assumption was that it was the drawings from the double platinum, white double platinum, and check those out. Not. They're massively different.
Way, way, way different. So whoever is doing this research on the website,
very different, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, completely different. So whoever's doing the research on the website has their information incorrect.
Yep.
So
these
again,
are almost
Nicholas,
like.
Show the ad. Hold the ad up again, Nicholas. No, leave that up, Joe. So you see the differences there, guys. So
what I'll do on screen, is right now I'll put the members under their respective drawings.
No, we will not. We are not editing this episode like that. No.
I will do that. We'll do it this one time.
I was going to sit and review the episode tonight, and you'd have it in the morning.
So anyway, it goes on to say, so it's wrong there. It says the original U.S. vinyl release had an embossed silver foil sleeve with KISS members in bas relief on the inside, which is a fancy way of saying, embossed. But yeah, so they're assuming that they're using artwork that they're not using. You wonder if they went, I wonder who they got that information from. That's so interesting that they have it wrong right there in the thing. So
yeah. So
that's it.
That covers it all, right?
Yep.
So I know that seemed quite a bit negative, and I've kind of always prided ourselves that we're pretty positive about KISS for the most part.
I'm positive it stinks. No, so here's the thing. Go ahead, Nicholas.
No.
I would here's what I would say. We're always for anybody buying whatever they want to buy. We're not making any decisions on making any opinions on what other people want to spend their hard-earned cash on. That's up to everybody. Some people buy a Ford, some people buy foreign, whatever. It's your hard-earned money. Go do with it what you want. We'll never say you shouldn't do that. But we're certainly allowed an opinion to say, this stuff, it's not accurate, it's ugly, it clearly looks like it's not done by the fans. That's just one man's opinion. You all are allowed your own opinions, and that by no means is gospel, or it doesn't mean that I'm not a fan or that Jason's more of a fan because he likes more stuff or less stuff. We all just have different discriminating tastes. That's it. And if you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you.
Neither one of us like Nicholas, so
no.
I was going to say that the watchers of this episode need to write in and tell us which is more outrageous: $200 for the double platinum limited edition picture disc, or the fact that we've talked about this for now an hour for one vinyl release.
How did we do that?
Or the $10,000 that Nicholas spent on hair plugs.
That's right. But they're supposed to be edition.
Look how luxurious they are, though. Jeez.
My hair was taken from the original Australian double platinum drawing. Said match that.
Yeah. I want luxurious hair like in this poorly drawn.
Imagine you brought that in and said, to the hairdresser, like, can you give me this?
You get a white wig with big black lines in it.
It's all like doing its own thing.
Oh boy. Anyway, there you are.
Yeah, so that's that. If you want to comment anything, tell us down below if you bought any of this stuff. What's your favorite pieces? What's your least favorite pieces? Just chat about it. We've got some chats going on in both Kiss My Wax and Kiss My Collectibles. They're rather lengthy. Lots of opinions. If you haven't joined in on that, we'd love to hear. Or if you're not in Facebook, we'd love to hear some of your comments below down in the YouTube comments. And
we'd also like to hear about. I would anyway. I'd like to hear about kind of like fatigue level too.
Sure.
Like,
good question.
We worked hard to get the Ace Frehley project down to where it was. trying to figure out how many people did we think would want this thing at this price level and tried to make it as special as possible. Do you guys care about that? Do you not? Or do you want just colored vinyl and that's cool if it hasn't been out before? Like, let's talk about the collector side of it too. How much does limited edition mean to you? How much does hand numbering mean? Let's talk about all that stuff, because I find that stuff, all those little factors go into how these releases work and the motivations for people to buy them, the fear of missing out, too many, not enough, what's limited, what's not. So let's have that discussion too. Cost, absolutely, yeah. Yep. Would you rather buy a $200 or $299 box that had 13 Kiss records with 63 unreleased tracks, a live DVD that nobody's seen before, and a 140-page hardcover book for $299, or do you want that for $200? I can guarantee you, I didn't buy this, and I can guarantee you I couldn't have bought that faster, even if it wasn't limited. If they'd have come out with that double platinum box with all that stuff, I'd have bought it.
Oh, yeah. I'd
have bought it so fast. And I would buy a re-release of every record again if they did them all that way.
Yep.
If I could have, 20 whatever boxes behind me of all the Kiss records and they were all consistent and had all that stuff in there, I'd buy them all the time.
That's exactly what we're seeing from Metallica. It's exactly what we're seeing from Prince. It's exactly what we've seen from Zeppelin, and they've all... Pink Floyd, they've all been amazing. They've all been amazing because someone cares, And here, I think we're just getting, the fans are going to buy this.
Yeah.
Put it out.
And let's not say Universal doesn't.
The band level being.
Go ahead, Nicholas. Go.
I was just going to say the band level being involvement. Metallica are very involved in that.
Right.
Maybe not Pink Floyd to the same extent, but definitely Jimmy Page is big on archive.
Is there a consistency there, Jason?
Is there a what?
A consistency there between all those bands? Do they all own their own rights?
I don't know if they all, but I know
Metallica does.
Metallica does. Zeppelin does.
Motley Crue does.
Motley Crue does, and we've seen plenty of great Motley Crue sets. But that doesn't. But these guys don't. And these guys put out great shit all the time. This is Def Leppard. This is, a huge box set. I've got 2 of these with their whole entire vinyl catalog, and I tell you what, for the 2 of these, I just paid barely over what that one double platinum cost, and this is the entire Def Leppard catalog. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. So even if you don't own your masters, you still, somebody... I really just think, like Nicholas said, it's a band involvement. I really don't think that Paul and Gene are consulted or involved in this at all.
Or motivated
and when that
to
happens,
be involved.
Or motivated to be involved.
What do they
and
care?
when you have that, you just have a record label throwing something out for people to purchase, as opposed to, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, where Jimmy Page wants this to be the best representation of every one of those records that ever came out. There's a lot more costs involved in that, but you can't really see it in the price of the final product. I mean, those super deluxe Led Zeppelin box sets are expensive, but they're way more involved.
It's not commensurate. Let's put it that way. For this, if for every 2 records it was $200, how much would that Prince thing be? $3,000?
Exactly. You're exactly right.
And I always say, can you get something in that box that you can't get somewhere else? I mean, double platinum is double platinum, whereas the Metallica ones that this demo tapes and live recordings and stuff that you haven't had before. The same deal with Led Zeppelin. Jimmy Page went and shared all the rough working mixes. I mean, if you're not a huge Led Zeppelin fan, there's not a huge difference in when you listen to them. But if you really know their work, the fans would have loved to have heard that. So again, I don't think it's Gene and Paul's fault. I just think there's no
they have nothing to do with it
for them at this point to get involved in it.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see if they ever did buy the rights to their catalog back. Would they invest some time and money and effort into doing that kind of treatment to the catalog? Would they? I don't know. Is there enough motivation there to concentrate on each release and dig through your archives and pull out stuff and bake tapes and remaster and all. It's a lot of work to do those kinds of releases, and some of them take long periods of time. I'm sure some artists care about that, and I'm sure some artists don't.
I think if you went to them and you said if you said you're leaving $8 million on the table, I'm just making it up.
Sure.
There's $8 million right there that you guys can have tomorrow. I think it would motivate most people.
That's the motivating factor.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much money can we make on our time investment?
Yep.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something else, Nicholas?
I was just gonna say, they had the Love Gun Deluxe box set,
right.
And obviously the Van Halen demos weren't in there in that version. They later turned up on, I think, was it the Vault, didn't they?
The Vault. Yeah.
So there are things that are out there, and it's got to be a motivating factor for the band to even allow. Well, first you're clearing rights of stuff that fans own, but there's also a motivating factor for the band to also go in and release this, because the band may also go, well, if there's not money on the table, why would I just hand over my demos? I know I've got these somewhere, but I'm not going to go searching for them or give them to you unless there's something financially in it for me, as you wouldn't. These are very protected things. Later on, the rights could return to me, and I could put this out and make a lot more money having, so that if it becomes very, I think they talked about the 82. They tried to do a deluxe Creatures, and the story was they couldn't find enough material. Or
didn't want to.
People weren't that helpful.
That's the real story. The real story here. And everything that I've heard in the background is that Paul and Gene are not working with Universal. There is not a good relationship, and because of that, we're not getting any kind of deluxe anything. I have heard rumblings that there may be some things coming, but who knows? You don't want to say any more because it may never happen, because we've seen things like the Creatures Deluxe fall through. But until Paul and Gene are working with the label who own their recordings, and there's actually something to gain for both of those entities, we're going to keep getting stuff like this. That's just the way it's going to be. And it's sad.
And there needs to be enough money in the budget for other people too. You've got to say, somebody must contact Peter and say, have you got any of your demos? Have you got the Stan Penridge demos? Can we use the Lips recordings? Like we've shown a few little grabs on almost all Peter's songs from all those albums are former Stan Penridge and like Lips songs. So where are those on there? Where are all Ace's demos? Who knows where he put them, but you know what I mean. Like in terms of, if you're not going to pay Ace and Peter, they're not going to hand them over, and I wouldn't either. I'd go,
no,
that's
of course
worth
not.
a lot of money, So there needs to be money in the budget for Gene and Paul. There also needs to be money in the budget for other people to get involved. Even like getting Eddie Kramer back for a new mix of something. Pay him; he'll need to be paid. Sure. There needs to be some money put aside to be able to make these great.
Whatever your opinion of the release is, at least the effort behind Destroyer Resurrected was something completely new and completely different that no one expected to be happening when you have the original producer coming back in and stripping off all of that, all of those effects as best as he could digitally and remixing that record. That was a lot of effort, and we just haven't seen that with any other kind of reissue of Kiss's catalog, and that's sad.
and that'd be because they went, well, we made a whole bunch of money on Double Platinum by just same old thing and pumping it out, or we have to pay Bob Ezrin, which would be a lot of money. So they'd just be going, well, we don't make that much money on the thing that's really cool. That's what worries me until the Masters return to Kiss.
Well, and I also don't want to bring up the inevitable morbid fact of what's going to happen to all of us someday. But look what happened to Prince. That guy didn't put anything out. He was reclusive. He didn't want anything to get out. Unfortunately, he passes, and the family has launched everything. They have fired every canon they have because they're either getting royalties, they own rights, whatever it is. They are firing everything they have. And right now, we talk about money being a motivating factor. It might be, Gene and Paul might go, we have enough. What I'm going to work for another $8 million. I'm worth $50 million. I'm worth $300 million. I'm worth $500 million, right? So what's another $8 million? If I sit around long enough, my bank account's going to grow by itself by that amount.
Yeah, it's the discussion of why can't we put out a Kiss record that a 500-piece Kiss record that has Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons signatures on it? Because you got to pay for those signatures, and you're going to probably pay at least $50 to $100 a piece for those signatures for 500 records, and that's going to net them a few $1,000s. It's not worth their time.
It's not if it doesn't motivate them, if they don't have it in their hearts, they're not going to do it.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's not worth the time. So, that's a whole different discussion, and we tried to end the episode 20 minutes ago. How'd that happen?
We did. And also, one very quick last thing. We see it all the time in these forums. People go, greedy Gene and Paul.
Yeah.
Not true, you guys. Universal's making these decisions. Whether or not they're consulted is a separate discussion. But Universal can fire any of this stuff off anytime they want, any day of the week, for any reason, and Gene and Paul have probably almost no say in it.
Right. The word in the street is they have to okay it, but contractually, that's probably just a nice gesture.
Formality.
Because Universal owns the stuff. They're going to pay Paul and Gene the royalties off of these. That's all Paul and Gene are making off this. Royalties.
Yep.
You know,
just like any other band who doesn't own their stuff.
That's correct. So and Sebastian Bach, who was in Collectibles, commenting on that very post, said the same thing. I pointed it out. You know, I just spoke with Mark Slaughter on the phone. He had no idea that Stick It To You, the first Slaughter record, was coming out on vinyl. They didn't consult with him. They consulted with him after the fact. And the same thing with Sebastian Bach and Skid Row. When Slave to the Grind is coming out for Record Store Day, when the 30th anniversary of the first Skid Row record come out, they didn't know until it was announced. They don't talk to these bands. They just release product because those bands don't own their masters. And that's the way the business works. So, good points. All right, so our bonus episode became a full episode. How in the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
That's how much we
guys.
care.
That's how much we cared. Or that's how bored we were. Right. So,
all right.
Is that it? We good?
That's it.
Yep.
We'll see you on the next one.
Okay. Bye.
T-shirt, click T, accessories too, click T, any way you want it now, at clicktshop.com.